Hello, my name is John Horton-Young. I'm a licensed professional counselor practicing here in Austin, Texas. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is one of the most underutilized tools in the treatment of mental health issues in this country, and that is physical exercise. Now, over the decades, there has been an unfortunate separation between the world of psychiatry and the rest of the world of medicine. This has led to the perception that somehow our brains exist different from the rest of our bodies, that they're separate entities. I'd like to start this off by trying to correct that perception.
This is generally how we conceive of our brain, an organ sitting by itself on the top of our bodies, encased in a skull, when in actuality, it is an integral part of a central nervous system which connects the brain to every single organ, every muscle, every fiber of our bodies, to the extent that if you really look at this, this is what our brain really is. It is constantly sending information out to our bodies, as well as receiving and processing information from our bodies. It is also tightly woven into our circulatory system through various arteries and veins that feed and nourish it. It also facilitates the exchange of various chemicals between the body and every neuron in our brain.
So now that we've hopefully adjusted our perception around how the mind and body are integrated together, I think we're ready to jump into our subject. First of all, let's go over some of the topics we're going to be covering in this presentation. Number one, we're going to be talking about what the prevalence of mental health issues are in this country to get an idea of the scope of the issue. Next, we'll discuss what mental health issues exercise has shown a positive impact on according to the research. Next, we'll discuss how does exercise impact some of these mental health issues in such a positive way. And lastly, we'll talk about what types of exercise do I need to do in order to enjoy these benefits. I'd like to level set the scope of the problem that we're talking about here by first of all going over what's the prevalence of some mental health issues within this country. To begin with, nearly half of the U.S. population will suffer from some sort of mental illness. Now keep in mind that these are clinically diagnosable problems. People have struggles in their life that are not necessarily clinically diagnosable. And I don't think too many of us get through life without having some sort of issue that we could use some support on. Anxiety disorders are the number one issue within this country, with nearly 30% of the U.S. population suffering from them. Now, keep in mind, this is a broad spectrum of issues. Okay, so this is dealing with everything from generalized anxiety disorder to obsessive compulsive disorder to specific phobias to even PTSD. Now, one of the bigger problems in this country is depression, which affects nearly 20% of Americans. Again, these are clinically diagnosable problems, okay? I don't think too many of us get through life and its struggles without struggling with depression at some point in our life, and we need support in helping to get through these periods. Now, to give an idea of just how serious a health problem depression is, nearly 15% of the people who suffer from clinically diagnosable depression will actually end up ending their lives. Again, clinically diagnosable. There are people out there that hit depressive periods or struggles in their life who will decide to go that route of taking their own life. So this is a very serious medical health problem within the U.S. Lastly, are some of what we call the serious and persistent mental illnesses. Things like bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. These are very serious mental health problems that are biologically based, and they involve horrible suffering, not only on the part of the person with the disease, but on everybody who supports them and loves them and their family. All of these things, as we'll begin to discuss here, can be positively impacted with the proper exercise. Now let's discuss some specific mental health issues that exercise and fitness has been shown to have a positive impact on. Now I think you would actually be hard-pressed to find a mental health issue that exercise doesn't have a positive impact on. But what I want to do is try to narrow it down to some critical areas. First of all, depression and anxiety. which we discussed earlier are two of the most prevalent mental health issues in this country. Now, what's interesting is that exercise is shown to have a positive impact on mood in general. So even for people who are not clinically depressed, it just gives a mood boost, even for those who may not suffer from depression. So again, as we were discussing before, the impact is not necessarily just on clinically diagnosable mental health issues. As far as anxiety goes, again, covers a broad range of conditions. Specifically, some of the ways that exercise has shown a positive impact is on managing specific phobias, or even helping people better manage panic attacks, as well as helping to manage symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder. Okay? Now, another area of anxiety that has shown some interesting research is PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, not only has exercise been shown to have a positive impact or help people better manage PTSD symptoms, there has been some research the military has done to show that it may actually reduce susceptibility to PTSD symptoms. So, for instance, it helps us be able to address traumatic events and not have it result in PTSD. Now, the way this is done is there's certain areas of the brain that help process memories, including traumatic memories. During a trauma, this process can be interrupted, and some of those areas of the brain can be weakened, basically, without getting into too many technicalities. But what exercise does, it actually increases the size and strengthens these areas of the brain responsible for processing memories, and therefore helps us better process traumatic memories so they do not result in PTSD symptoms. Another area that I like to highlight is anger. Now, yes, exercise and fitness does help people and has been clinically and through the research shown to help better manage anger. The secondary effect of that is it improves relationships with other people. Interpersonal relationships are very important to our mental health overall. We're social creatures. We need interpersonal relationships, even with in-laws. I know that's one of the more radical concepts I'm introducing here today, but yes, even with in-laws, they are important relationships, and it can help to manage them better. Surprisingly, that exercise has also been shown to positively impact some more serious mental health issues like schizophrenia. So for instance, it helps control the obesity that can often be part of taking some of the psychotropic drugs or antipsychotic drugs that are used to treat and help schizophrenics manage their symptoms. The other thing is exercise has been shown to reduce stress. This is particularly important for people with schizophrenia because a lot of stress and a lot of emotional turmoil can actually exacerbate some psychotic symptoms for schizophrenics. Lastly is substance abuse. Now, I was hesitant to put this on here because the research has not been strong in this area. But there is some that shows that there may be some benefit. Now, in particular, since exercise does help better manage many mental health issues, it can help manage substance abuse, because often substance abuse is simply a symptom of mental health issues. If I can't manage my mental health issues and I'm troubled, many times people with substance abuse problems are doing so in order to manage those symptoms. So basically, it helps us to manage our symptoms in a much healthier way than resulting to substance abuse in order to manage those symptoms. So now let's talk about how exercise affects mental health. What are some of the mechanisms involved here? Well, first of all, exercise promotes the secretion of serotonin into the system, which is important for the maintenance of mood. Now, this is similar to what many antidepressant drugs do, which is make more serotonin available to the synapses in our brains. But it does it without many of the side effects that can come with antidepressant drugs. The other thing it does is release endorphins into the system, which is known as the feel-good hormone. Now, this helps in maintenance of mood. It helps in the maintenance and regulation of emotions, and it also helps us better manage anxiety. The other thing it does is it increases blood flow to the brain, which obviously is going to deliver more oxygen and more nutrition to the brain, which is going to help in its functioning. It also improves the physiological response to stress. Now, in particular, it helps control the amount of cortisol that gets released into our system. Now, cortisol can be very damaging in large amounts or large continuous amounts. It can be very damaging to the brain and can cause certain problems with cognitive functioning and also make it difficult to maintain mood. Now, this is something that rarely gets talked about, but is very important, is normalizing sleep. Exercise is very good at helping people sleep. And the amount of sleep we get has everything to do with how well we function as far as our emotions and as far as our mood. It cannot be stressed enough how important it is. As a matter of fact, when we do assessments on people to determine whether or not they're suicidal, the amount of sleep is very important in that analysis, and lack of sleep represents a significant risk factor. Now, it has been shown that certain chronic mental health illnesses can actually cause damage to the brain. For instance, chronic depression can actually cause the brain to shrink. Now, this can not only lead to worsening depressive symptoms, it can lead to other mental health issues. Not only that, but it can affect cognitive functioning, particularly as we get older. Now, what exercise will do is it releases certain neurochemicals and growth factors that can reverse this damage. So not only will it help you maintain symptoms, it will also help reverse some of the damage done by those symptoms. Now, getting into some of the less biologically based factors, but certainly just as important, are things like social interaction. Getting out and being part of a group exercise is a great way to get out and meet people. Participating in classes, going to the gym and meeting new people. Certainly just getting away from work, getting away from home, getting away from all your stressors, and going to work out is certainly helpful to lift mood and manage anxiety and manage many mental health issues. Also, it improves self-esteem. Now, just being able to get out and watch yourself improve, being able to run further, being able to run faster, seeing yourself get stronger, all of those things have positive impacts on self-esteem, which are going to help improve mental health symptoms. Certainly tied to improved self-esteem is an enhanced physical self-perception. When we are physically fit, we're going to look better. And if we look better, we have more self-confidence, we feel better about ourselves. And the research has shown that people actually respond to us more positively when we look better. Like it or not, it's the way it is. I'm not thrilled about it either, but it's just a reality of the world. The other thing is that it gives us time to get away and reflect. It gives us time to think about what happened during the day, what stressors were out there, what things bothered us, and it helps us process them and put them into perspective properly. Taking an active role in the treatment is very important. Many people with mental health issues are relying on therapists, they're relying on psychiatrists, they have their medications they have to take. Exercise is something you can do for yourself, by yourself, to take control of your own treatment. Certainly, it's also been shown through the research that exercise can actually improve your perception of life as manageable and meaningful. Having a sense of meaning in life is probably one of the most important things in maintaining mental health and feeling good about us and feeling good about ourselves. Lastly, reduce cynical distrust. There's been some research showing that people who exercise more do not distrust as much. This is going to be critical to maintaining interpersonal relationships. You can't build positive relationships with people if you've got this cynical distrust of everybody around you. So now that we've got a better understanding of the benefits of exercise on mental health, the next logical question is, so what do I need to do to enjoy these benefits? How much exercise are we talking about? Well, here's the good news. The answer is not much. Now, we're not talking about running out and doing this, okay? Don't go out and kill yourself. It's not going to help. It's going to lead to possible damage of your body. It's going to frustrate you, and it's going to make the situation worse as opposed to better. Now, you remember we talked earlier about the Duke University study comparing exercise and medication to the treatment of depression. And what they found was the maximum benefit was achieved by doing just simply 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. And here's the other piece of good news. Both aerobic and non-aerobic activity are just as effective. So if your thing is to go out and run and build your cardio, go do it. If your thing is to build your strength and go out and lift weights, go do it. Both of them are equally as effective. So you can do something that's going to increase the likelihood that you're going to enjoy the experience and continue to do it. The other thing that was shown was that men do tend to get a little bit more of a benefit from more intense exercise. Now, again, reminding you men, don't go running out and killing yourselves. But the message is a little more intensity when you're ready for it does give you a benefit. They did not see the same benefit in women for some reason, but both actually saw significant benefit in just simple low intensity exercise. So the message here is get out and do it. This does not take much time. This does not take much effort. And the impact, as we've been discussing, is significant. So I'd like to thank all of you for watching this today. This meant a lot to me to do it. It was a subject that was very important to me. And if you would like to get more information, out on the website, you can get this presentation. At the end of it is this list of resources. This is different research and a couple of books out there on the subject that will help you learn more. Okay? So thank you very much. Now it's time to shut off your computers and it's time to go out there and be active.